Hello my dear student. So, today I will discuss from here, we will start this from the unit 2. Okay. In the previous lectures, in the previous video you have seen, you have learned about what artificial intelligence is, you have seen so many frameworks, so many applications of artificial intelligence and machine learning just introduces there. Okay. So, in this unit we will discuss about the machine learning and its its a type in detail. So, as I have told you, machine learning is just categorized into 3 parts: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, reinforcement learning. So, here what the supervised learning is, in this video I will discuss what the supervised learning is, what are the classification of supervised learning is that, and in upcoming next video we will cover the each categorization, each application of the particular type of the machine learning. So, here let us start from this what I will cover in this video. Here I will cover about the introduction about the artificial intelligence and machine learning, its type of machine learning types, and one of the type is supervised learning, and what are the type of supervised learning. There are 2 types of supervised learning: classification and linear regression. So, we will discuss in detail in this video. So, initially what you have learned till now, what you have just imagine ki what artificial intelligence and where machine learning exists, where deep learning exists, what about all that. So, artificial intelligence is all about that. It enables the machine to think, and intelligent machine that think and act like a human being. That means artificial intelligence have a wider and wider scope, but machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. In artificial intelligence, it will tell about, it enables the machine that you just think, but how you will think and what are the machine, how machine will behave, it's all will be happen, it's all will be done under the machine learning program. So, machine learning is basically the statistical, the environmental, the everlasting inventions that humanity that actual wants. Machine learning works like it learns several things without being programmed to do. So, artificial intelligence, machine learning, where it is exists, this diagram is very much this diagram enables to tell about all that. And basically deep learning is also, deep learning basically the subset of the machine learning. So, we will discuss later on detail in deep learning, but machine learning is basically, here I will focus on the machine learning, and machine learning basically it is an invention, it just in everlasting that basically you will just put it on that what exactly machine, how machine will behave. Okay. So, machine learning will enable you that it learns without being explicitly programmed. So, basically machine learning is categorized into 3 parts: okay, supervised learning, unsupervised learning and reinforcement learning. So, here I will discuss about only the supervised learning. Okay. In the upcoming next unit I will discuss in detail of the unsupervised learning and what are the reinforcement learning, it is also discussed later. Okay. But here what the supervised learning exactly it will be discussed. Okay. So, supervised learning is basically categorized into how many parts? It categorized into 2 parts: classification and regression. Okay. So, here is the need to understand what classification is and what regression is, where you will classify the things, where you will regress the things. Okay. So, and what the classification means, what the regression means, it will be discussed here. Okay. So many applications are there that are comes under the classification part, and so many applications are there that are comes to the regression part, and what you will take the decision, that means what if any event is happening, so in which category it will exist. So, in technically first just understand the technical term, what classification exactly it and what the regression exactly it. After that you will yourself will able to define in which category this particular application will exist. Okay. So, supervised learning, basically what supervised learning? Supervised learning means supervision. Okay. Under the guidance, under the any third person that you just that he or she will monitor you what you are doing exactly. Okay. So, as the name suggests, supervised learning means basically based on the supervision, and the name, the mean is of this technique is we have to train, we have to maintain our machine using the labeled data set. Okay. So, supervised, just first understand the term supervised exactly is, supervised learning is basically based on two things. Okay. Supervised learning, what supervised learning, where it arises here exactly? The supervised learning, that means we are all are surrounded with the environment. Okay. We are all the surrounded with the environment, and supervisor will there to supervise the things, and you are the learning agent. You are the means except supervisor, rest of the person is acting as a learning agent. Agent means that work autonomously, okay, and you have to train that out. So, learning agent will take input from the environment, okay, and supervisor will take the input also from the environment, right. Supervisor has the desired standard output, but learning agent means who will learn the things from the environment, from the surrounding. So, learning agent having the some of the output value, but supervisor will guide you, na. Supervisor will have the standard input, supervisor will have the standard input, okay, and learning agent after learning from the environment and from the supervisor, it will have a actual output, whatever it is maybe. So, this standard input very much close to the actual output. Actual output, whatever it is calculated, whatever it is generated, it will match with the standard input, whether he or she is try to achieve the target or very much closer to the result. Okay. Actual target, actual output will be generated by the learning agent obviously. So, learning agent will try to match the result with the supervisor's output, whatever supervisor having the standard inputs or standard guidance, standard value, right. So, you will match actual output with the supervisor standard input, and you will get, obviously it will be very much closer, okay, it will be very much closer to the result, but not exact the value. What exactly is, I will later this is discuss here, and there may be some error, right. If it is very much close, if it is very much close, that you can say yes, your learning agent is very much close to in predicted close for predicting this particular result. Okay. So, error will again feed it to the learning agent, okay, and then he will match the things. So, supervisor will supervise the things and it will guide the learning agent, and learning agent will do all that, and learning agent whatever the result it is getting, it will match whether I am right or wrong, and if it has find any error, it will be again feeded, and it will take the input from the environment, and this whole about the supervised learning, it is all acting, it is all happening under the supervision. So, supervision means basically it is just a labeled data, it is just pre-decided ki yes on which data you have to work. Now, this particular basically supervised learning based on the training data set, the machine will, so that machine will able to predict the output on the basis of that. So, basically supervised learning is categorized into the two parts, classification and regression. Okay. So, classification and regression, where you will perform the classification technique, where you will perform the regression technique. So, classification technique basically having the data whatever it is in a bunch of manner. That means, it is divided into the classes, it may be a 2 classes, may be a so many classes, right. So, basically when inputs are divided into 2 or more classes, so where you will apply the classification technique, okay. And basically it learns from the data set and categorize the observation into the classes or groups. Suppose you have the classes in which in first class you will just mention that triangles are there, right, and in the second class there is an stars, right. Up now suppose I am saying this is a pass class and this is the fail class. Okay. So, for classification technique you will prepare one model. Model means that is just reflected the thing whatever you want to perform from that. Suppose you just feed it the data, you just feed it the data, you have one data and labeled data is already there. Labeled data means ki you have taken suppose result and this is just a percentage. You have labeled data. Classification technique tells what? It divides the data into the two more classes, and you want, if suppose you are the student and you have taken the value, if you have 50 marks, then you just lie under which category? You will lie under pass category or you will exist in the fail category. So, you will just created the model under this condition and data is already given, data set is already given. So, data set is what? Suppose the person who won the 10 marks out of 100 comes under which category? Fail. Those person which are getting the marks 40, it will also comes under the fail category. Those who are comes 60, 50 comes under the category pass. Okay. So, this kind of label data is already there and you have to decide ki the person who get, the student who get the marks 50, it will lie under which category. So, training data is there, training data is fed, whatever it is. Supervised learning means supervised learning work on the training data set. Training data set means it already there, it you will just analyze that and it is already there and you have to, according to that training data set, you have to take the decision. So, under which category this particular, under which category this particular value, this particular parameter will exist. So, this is the category and you can predict this set, that means 50. If it comes under the 50, it will, he will pass. Okay. So, in which category it will lie? Under the bunch of the class. This particular set, that is trying to find out in which category I also exist. So, it will matches the training data set, and after that training data set, after classification algorithm, after classification technique, he or she will able to define that in which category, in which classes it will lie. Okay. So, as you can see here, basically what it is, it divides two or more classes. Here is only two classes, na, pass and fail, and maybe are more than two classes also. Like I will tell you later, it learns from the data set and categorize the observation into the classes. Suppose this is the triangle answer, in which classes it will exist, cat or dog, whether the animal is given, that is the cat or dog. So, you can predict whether it may be a binary terms also. So, the output of variable classification is a category. What is the output of this? The output of the classification is the category, not a value. There is no value, it will just comes under the category, whether this category will exist or this category will exist. Okay. So, classification algorithm, classification told you the output, classification technique will give you the output in the category manner. That means ki as such there is no value allotted for that, it is just to tell you that ki the term that you want to know about the outcome, it is just a category, right. So, in which category it is like, it is already there, right. So, let us take in another slide another example, email spam detector. Email spam detector. Suppose some mail has given, some mail has arrived, and whether it is goes in the spam sector or non-spam sector. So, this is also comes under the heading classification technique. Email spam detector is the best example. And now Gmail classifier. Gmail classifier, you just open your Gmail account, right, where you will found what? There is so many categories are there, social, promotion, inbox, updates, forum. So, here the in email that is arise, that just you have received, in which category it will goes, it is depends, maybe in this category, maybe in this category, whatever its basic nature, right. So, Gmail classifier, so I have told you your output may be the class, maybe in the two manner, maybe in a binary term, maybe in a multi-class manner. multi-class. Here it is, classifier is basically two types, classification technique, maybe it is binary classification and maybe in a multi-class. So, multi-class means कि two possible outcome, more than two possible outcome, and in binary classifier only two possible outcome. In which category it will lie? As the name suggests, binary classifier, and as the name suggests, multi-class classifier, that means output will goes under which category? Yes or no, male or female, whatever, just you just want to differentiate it. So, basically classification techniques will works on the two types of classifier, binary classifier and multi-class classifier. So, its mainly aim is what? Its mainly aim to predict the output of the categorical data, in which categories it will lie, right. So, its aim is to what? Its aim is just easy, to implement classification on data set is called the classifier, and classifier is basically two types, binary classifier and multi-class. Obviously, as the name suggests, binary classifier means it will work on the two possible outcomes, like if you want to find the output in the yes or no manner, it will goes under the classification technique. It will go if you want to find out the output in the manner he is male or she is female. So, this category is also comes under this category classification technique, female, spam or not spam, cat or dog, where you are just having a two classes, their classification technique exists. And one more thing is very important, the data, the output of the data is not a any actual value, it is just a categorical data. It will just under the categories, it will just show the category, in which category it will lie. So, binary and multi-class classification is the part of the classification technique. Now, another topic, another type of the supervised learning is the linear regression. First was the classification technique and second was the linear regression. So, linear regression is what? Where the term is where your output is basically depend upon two things, dependent and independent, where your variable is comes under the category dependent or variable. Basically, regression is focused on the correlation between the dependent and independent variable, right. So, in technical term I have told you, right, I have taken the application after that. So, basically it is what? It is a never ending range. Classification technique means yes, this is male or this is female, this male is goes under the spam sector or not non-spam sector, but the linear regression output will be non-ending range. Non-ending range, if you want to find out the range of the prices, right, it will be continuously grown up. It will be not it will stop at the particular moment, right, never ending range. Next it is just going on, just going on, just going on, it is a predicted value, it is not a fix. Instead of trying to classifying them in a categories, whether it is dog or cat, you will just put it into the never ending range, right. So, the goal of the regression is what? Is to predict a value as much as closer to the actual outcome. As I told you, the learning agent means you, just student, or me also. If I am supervised, then you are the learning agent. Learning agent that will learn from the environment and that wants the output. What would be the output for the particular situation? So, the goal of regression will helpful, the regression will helpful. So, the goal of regression is what? To predict a value as much closer to the actual value, not accurate output, but it will be more closer value, right. Closer value or more than more can be evaluation is done, and if you have done calculation, then obviously there may be a minute error or minute kind of deviation in both the value. There is a standard output and there is an actual output. A standard output supervisor will give you the output should be this, right. Suppose I am teaching you and I am telling you that you just code in machine learning that 80% minimum out of 100. So, then you just assume that you just pass, okay, but you just trying to take out the result in a 80%, you are just trying to find the maximum number, you just try to achieve the thing, you will just learn that, you will just write that, you will whatever input from it is up to you from where you are just getting the input for getting the higher marks. And higher marks is what? Just 100 marks, it is the higher marks, but you will just, if you will just try for getting the 100 marks, you will obviously, you will close to the 100 marks, maybe it is 90, maybe it is 80, maybe it is 60, but there may be some error, and whatever the error, it will goes under, it will just feedback to again you, where you have just getting your, you just find the technicality less, where you have find, where you have given some less input for achieving the higher mark. So, the difference is whatever, so that this difference is said to be the error. So, the you will just very much close to the actual error standard in standard value. So, obviously, you will not getting the standard input, you will not just secure the 100 marks, you will just secure 70 marks or 80 marks, but where you are very much close to that standard marks, right. Supervisor will guide you only, okay. Supervisor will guide you and just say that you just score, you just have to score the 100 marks, but you have scored 70 marks, 80 marks. So, the error is there, it will again feedback. So, linear regression will be basically non-ending range, non-ending range it just focuses on. So, you can see this with this example, basically linear regression analysis is a way of mathematically differentiating variable that have an impact, okay. And it is also a supervised learning task where output is having a continuous value. Maybe some student is like here, maybe here, maybe here, maybe someone is very much close. This is the line of regression and these are the data points, and this is the independent and dependent variable. Dependent and variable, dependent and independent variable means what? Suppose A equal to f of b, right. Linear regression is also categorized into two parts. Linear regression is categorized into linear or non-linear, there are two types of regression. So, if the value is dependent upon single variable, so right, single variable. So, it is, if this is the independent variable, this particular value, suppose you have taken the marks 50%, you have opted 50% marks, and this is the dependent upon the result. That means whether you have pass or fail. So, your result is dependent upon the your just score is dependent upon the result. In the particular subject, whatever, suppose this is the subject of machine learning, you are getting the 50 marks, in which category you will just exist? You just exist in the you just dependent upon the result. So, this is here only the single variable that is dependent upon this output, okay. So, the smaller the error, the greater the accuracy, okay. If you have smaller the error, those who have got 90 marks out of 100 and those who have 70 marks out of 100, who are very much close, 90 marks is very much close. So, the smaller the error, the greater the accuracy, accuracy will be greater in the regression model. So, basically what regression model and what classification model is? Regression and classification is basically helps to find out the accuracy of the result, but where you have classify and where you have rigorously getting the things in the output manner, these are the two terms. Classification will help you to predict the discrete class levels, but regression will help to predict the continuous quantity. It is not a fix, you have just 70, it is just a continuous property, continuous manner you just getting the output. Regression analysis can be further divided into linear. I have told you the regression is divided into linear and non-linear, where the value is, if independent variable is only one, that is for the output. So, this is the linear regression. If more than one independent variables are there, so this is just a non-linear regression. If one variable is there that is depend upon the particular output, that is comes under the category linear, and if more than independent variables are comes for getting the output, that will comes under the non-linear regression, right. So, nature of prediction should be ordered for the regression point of view, and the nature of prediction in the classification does not mean that it should be ordered, it should be unordered, right. And let us take the real life example. Suppose you want to predict that will it be cold or hot tomorrow, what will be the weather's outcome. So, then maybe in which category it will lie? Will it will be cold or hot tomorrow? Tomorrow weather report you want to know whether it is cold or hot, right. Maybe in two category it will lie, na? Maybe cold or maybe hot. So, it will lie under the classification technique. And if you want to know the temperature going, what would be then it will be some close to the actual standard input, right. Desired means what exactly it is, yes, the tomorrow temperature is 40 degree, right, but maybe it may vary 38 degree, maybe 42 degree. So, you are very much close to the actual desired output, you are not predicted the thing accurately. So, this will be comes under the regression technique. Regression means temperature is going to be tomorrow, maybe it is 84, maybe it is 44, maybe it is 74, it is up to the area, it is up to the environment. So, regression and classification comes under this is the type of the supervised learning. Okay. So, classification technique and regression technique is, classification is categorized into two part, binary class classifier and multi-class, and regression classification is linear and non-linear. So, linear and non-linear is basically focuses on the dependent and independent variable. When independent variable is only one, then linear regression will work. When independent variable is more than one, then it is comes under the category non-linear regression. And classification, I have told you the multi-class and binary class. So, I hope this video will helpful to understand the supervised learning and its classification, its type. So many other applications of the particular supervised learning will be discussed on the upcoming video. In this unit we will learn all types of all applications of supervised learning only, and in the next unit we will learn all types of all applications of unsupervised learning like clustering and all. And supervised learning we will discuss k nearest problems, so support vector machine. So, this heading will comes under this unit, and unsupervised learning will be discussed in the unit 3. So, I hope it helpful to understanding the classification of the supervised learning. Thank you so much.